Happy Thursday, everyone. What an amazing day. Yeah, do that. Whoa, let's bring it. Oh, I love the energy. Fantastic. Awesome. Now, I know that you're tired. We've had a big day. We've had a massive day. Amazing presenters, amazing and inspirational work from every single person. And there's a good reason why you're tired. There's been a number of times throughout the day where your prefrontal cortex has been consuming more blood sugar than all of your other organs combined. So if you are feeling a little bit of brain fog, there's the reason why. So my dedication to you, my contract to you, is I'm going to bring the energy, all right? I've got my new sexy jacket on. I've got my lucky undies on. We're good. Just checking in the front row. I do have my zip. Yeah, okay, good. All right, we're going to have a little bit of fun. All of my images are AI generated. I have left out the more nightmare-inducing hallucinations. It only took me about 654 fucking times longer to put this presentation together because of it. ChatGPT-4 or DALL-E, or my mate Chad, as I like to call it. That came from the Design Outlook Leadership lunch. Yeah, Chad's a very fickle artist, and you say, can you just fix this? Everything's great. I love it. Just change this one thing. And Chad goes, yeah, I'll do that, and then fuck that shit up. All right, and I was like, oh, damn it. But I love this image because it really connects with how Finbar and Darren started the day out. That we are all one brain, we're all one consciousness, yeah? We symbolise 100 billion neurons in our little skulls. You know, that 1.4 kilogram lump of electrified fatty tissue that makes all the decisions for us? Yeah, that thing. And we are representing the synaptic pathways today in the way that we connect, the way that we learn. And so I want to really honour that, and especially the way Alison talked about our connection to country and the stories that can bring things alive and teach us stuff. And I think we need to honour those two things through a 90s sitcom that you might know called Friends. Oh, hang on, what's he doing here? Mysterious. I'm actually going to show you that we are connected in more ways in which you think. And our intrinsic learning, our habit loops, our pattern recognition comes into so many layers, just as we were told at that start. So what if I was to tell you that a song could induce a physical response from you? You're thinking about that theme song, aren't you? What if I was to say, so no one told you life was gonna be this way? Oh, come on, more! Oh, I want more! Let's try that again. So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Thank you. And that is the power of connection. Good night. All right, no. All right, we're going to have a little bit of fun. I am going to go deep, all right, and I'm going to go a little bit dark at times because I'm going to be vulnerable with you. I'm going to talk about some of the shit that I've gone through. And the reason why I want to do that is I want to connect those layers into resilience and grit. How can we take the power of connection? How can we take all of the things that we've been learning today, stack that into a symphony that will work for resilience and grit for us? All right, that's what I want to show you. But I will also demonstrate to you that despite going all of that through that shit, and Tom really talked about this in his amazing presentation, we need to own our feelings, we need to own the emotions, we need to do the work, we need to heal, and we need to be able to work through that and find the fun in it, find the laughter in it if we can, and look back at that, because that's the healthy way of being able to do it. Have gratitude for the hard times because it makes you who you are today. Now, I'll also keep it fairly easy in that I'll only ever just give you 3 things at a time, because that's fairly brain friendly. And to start off, we've been doing a whole lot of brain yoga and a whole lot of really difficult exercising today. This can be our warm down stretching. And this is just the 101 of what do we do now? We've had an amazing conference, yeah? So, inspiration. So much inspiration today, so many really fantastic points. I want you to think about just one thing that really resonates with you and it really connects with you from your values perspective. And it might tie in to a long-term goal that you'd like to set. If you can, if you've got a pen and pad, write that down. It just activates a few neural networks. Go home, digitise that, put it on Post-it notes, get a Sharpie out, write it on your bathroom mirror. Go crazy with it, all right? But a long-term goal might be 6 months, 12 months, 3 years, whatever it is that is tied into something you've always wanted to do And now you've found some of that inspiration. Maybe you've just got started, but you didn't know what to do next, but this has really got you excited about it. And of course, if you've got a long-term goal, you're going to have to chunk that down into some smaller goals. Now, I'm talking about something that you can go home and just do tonight. One of those stepping stones that will just get you started. Okay? It might be something you do over the weekend or in the next week or so. Just chunk it down to something similar, or something simple, and start working through that. So why do we need those things? Well, we'll come back to how that works with resilience and grit in just a moment. And what is the neuroscience of connection? Why is that important? Well, I think we got a great lead into that in that opening discussion in talking about that collective intelligence. You see, from a social connection perspective, it is absolutely intrinsically critical for our psychological health, but also for our physical health. Social disconnection and social dysfunction. The professor of psychology and psychiatry, Dr. Matthew Lieberman from UCLA, talks about the fact that that sort of disconnection can cause more health issues, more physical health issues, than smoking, obesity, and high blood pressure combined. That's pretty stunning, isn't it? That just disconnection can cause that. Why is that? Well, we are social beings. We're designed to be connected. Now, if you're introverted, this might be a little bit much today, and that's probably drawing more energy. Whether you've got one friend or you've got a whole tribe of amazing friends, we need that connection. And there's so many other biases that come into that tribe. Our in-group and out-group bias is one of the ruling things of all of the decisions we make. So I'm talking friend, foe, us, them. It makes so many of our decisions, and we've seen that divide across the world, haven't we? We've seen the real emotional divide between so many things on religion and politics and so many other topics. Why is that? Well, it's because of oxytocin. Now, when we think of oxytocin, we think of it as being the cuddle hormone, all right, or the love neurotransmitter. But just like the Force in Star Wars, oxytocin has a light side and it has a dark side. The light side is that it is the basis of all of our trust and our bond with those that we really love and we really connect to, our tribe. But it is also the thing that makes us feel very strong emotions about those in our out-group, and that we have to do everything to sabotage them and make them fail. It's like that tiger attacking the tribe. Their failure is our success. It's the thing that will keep us safe. But the really important thing about oxytocin, when we turn that into resilience and grit, is Kelly McGonigal, who's one of the foremost scientists and pioneers around our understanding of what stress does to us physically. She talks about the fact that, yes, in that stress affect, that flight, fight, freeze or fawn response, that we have cortisol, we have adrenaline, we have neuroepinephrine, but we also release oxytocin. Why is that? Well, it's the body's way of calling out and saying, you're going through some heavy shit, you need help. You need help from your tribe. So honour that and understand that and be able to work with that. And choose your tribe wisely. You thought you were coming along for a design conference for design, and he's saying get rid of the fucking useless people in your friends group. All right? But it is so important, and we'll go into that a little bit more. Why? Because the people that we spend time with, we have this complex set of mirror neurons in the way that we learn and the way that we imitate. You know, you get together with a group of friends, you got your special little sayings, you know, you got your mannerisms, you got your way of, you know, taking the piss out of each other, and you feed off that energy. Now, we also have people that we spend time with when every time we spend time with them, we just feel better for it. We feel more intelligent. I hope you're picturing someone that's close to you that does that for you. Keep those motherfuckers in your tribe. They are awesome people, right? You're also now probably starting to think of that really toxic person that is an energy succubus, right? I've said that really weird. Succubus? Get rid of them, all right? The people that are narcissistic or are gaslighting you, it might be a boss, it might be someone in your family. You know, fuck them off. There's a reason, and that's the emotion contagion. The mirror neurons in the way that we imitate and stuff, even to the point where if we watch someone make a cup of coffee, as the observer, if there was an fMRI on the person making the coffee and you as the observer, all of the same networks of your brain would be lighting up at the same time. The only difference is your brain is simulating it and just not sending it from the motor cortex down the cerebellum into the nervous system. So there's so much that is important in the people that we spend time with and the people that give energy to us. Now, when it comes to this story of tribe and who you should and shouldn't have, I know a little bit about this. You see, I was raised in a high-control religious cult. It might rhyme with Jehovah's Fitness. I don't know. Now, for 31 years, I was brought up believing that this is the best life ever. Yeah, best life ever. And there's so much love, and I'm going to live forever in paradise with a pet panda and a lion cub, and it's going to be awesome. And when you die, I'm going to take your mansion. Yay. There's a bit of a dark side to that. Now, with all of those beliefs and all of that, I started to realise that the unconditional love that I was told I would receive had a whole lot of fucking conditions to it. And I decided to go against them because I wasn't feeling the empathy that I thought should have been in Jehovah's one true religion. And I left that. I went out in a blaze of glory, of course. And when that happened, there was an announcement, and overnight, all of my friends, all of my family, every single person that I'd ever known, because cults like to keep you isolated, they no longer spoke to me ever again. So my definition of a bad day, that was a tough one. So I was disconnected from my tribe and I had to reinvigorate what I was going to do. So naturally, I got into stand-up comedy and theatre. Just for shits and giggles. So when we talk about resilience and grit, I've had to show a little bit of that in times. If I was to loosely define these, resilience is that time where one really tough thing happens to you. It might be a terrible relationship breakup. It might be that you lose your job or that you're treated really badly by someone. It might be something that happens at work. It might be a health crisis that you face. I really hope that no one does their Achilles tendon. Did that, motherfucker, and that is bad. I would not wish that upon my worst enemy. But just like our rock climber in the picture there, if we do have a little bit of a slip, as long as we can hold on and we can go, you know what, I've been through some hard times before, I can keep going. I just got to get my feet going, get that under me and work through. So this sort of relates to the short-term goals, all right? And I'll tie that in just a moment. The long-term stuff is relating to grit, all right? If we go through a sequence of really shitty stuff, one after the other, they might be coming from all different parts of our life, and it creates a huge amount of overwhelm for us. What is going to be the thing that gets us through? Well, it's around that long-term goal. It's about having something that is really meaningful for you and really purpose-driven, that ties into your values, and you can tell yourself, you know what, I've been through some hard times before, I can get through this, I'm going to look at the bigger picture, this is what I've got to do, all right? And I'm going to do it. So how can we foster resilience and grit? How can we bounce back from that one shitty thing that seems insurmountable at the time? But if we can have some of that self-narrative, that we can get through this. Adaptive coping mechanisms, what does that mean? Well, Lisa Feldman Barrett talks about, she's one of the most cited scientists in the world when it comes to emotions and understanding our emotions. She talks about the fact that if we feel the emotions at that point in time when something happens to us, don't try to box that away and shove it down. That shit will come back and bite you in the arse. The one simple thing that you can do is label that emotion. And the more granular, the better. If you say you're angry, or I'm confused, or I feel betrayed, or I'm disgusted, really feel what it is and label that, because it actually naturally gives the brain a little bit of relief. In a lot of the studies they did, it was remarkable in just how quickly it started to bring people out of stress affect. Why? Because it normalised. You were able to tell yourself, it's actually normal that I feel this way. This shitty thing, of course I should feel this way. And at that point, you can start to be a little bit less emotional in the decision once you've accepted it and started to work through that. Now, that might be different for everyone. Small things might affect you in a really big way, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But that cognitive reappraisal, if you can start to identify, label, and then reframe, try to find the silver lining in it. And this is where the next point comes in, and this is why it is so important to have a really good tribe. Now, I'm not saying you've got to do this alone. The whole point of this is that you need to reach out for help. If you need to get some medication, if you need to go to a therapist and get some help there, then do that. It's so important for our health to keep going and to be able to bounce back from that. But it's also really important in choosing tribe wisely, because if we go to the people that are the energy succubuses, I don't know why I keep including that word, but if we go to those people that take energy and always negative, then it's going to get us into spirals. The body and the brain love negativity because it uses much less energy than positivity. And you might be at that point where you say, well, no one told me life was going to be this way. Oh, come on. I've lost you. Let's try that again. No one told you life was going to be this way. That's better. All right, you're awake now. Good. And the importance of this is self-care. The last point is bringing this all together, all right? Engage in that self-care if you need to do some exercise, if you need to watch the diet. If you're going through some difficult times, then yeah, okay, eat the tub of ice cream, watch the movie. You know, my thing when I was going through an abusive relationship was when I had a bit of space on a particular night of the week, I'd cook up a steak, have some potato gems, and watch 300 because it was a little guy winning, all right, and I owned that shit. And then they came back home and I was like, oh. So we work through it. You do what you can control. Right now, I've got a beautiful 2.5-year-old border collie called Neo, and he is part of my self-care regimen. He is absolutely amazing. He's not much of a cuddly dog, but he recognises that if I'm having one of those days where I'm letting the emotions wash over me, I'm just going to watch a movie, I'm just going to do nothing, he'll come up and he'll give me a bit of a cuddle. He leans into me, he puts his face to mine. It's really nice, and I just breathe in that moment. And then he licks his ass. And he picks up a toy and he throws it in my lap and he says, let's go, Dad, I want some frisbee time. And it's like, I've got to laugh. And I'm accountable to him, and it gets me going, it gets me moving, and it helps me. So have those things in your life where you know what works for you. Mindfulness and meditation are absolutely critical in that regard. Yep. What I'm saying here is to have grit, you've got to grow an arm out of your ass. All right. There's a whole lot going on in that image that I just don't want to even go there. Now, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know here. Embracing growth and benefits mindset. You're probably quite familiar with Carol Dweck's work around this. And she does talk about the language that we use. And again, that comes down to the people that we're spending time with. If someone's done bad by you and you're hanging out with the negative people, yeah, we're going to get them back, I'm going to fuck them up. No, you don't want that. Take the high road. Be the better human. Come up with all of the creative ideas. That's in your DNA. When you think about all of the divergent ideas to solve a problem and then converge down on what is going to be the best way to solve this, how can I live with myself on how I move forward through it? And also come up with a little bit of a plan B, because the brain likes that. If the first idea fails, then the brain goes, that's all right, we've got a plan B. I'm really good at predicting shit, and how good am I? In the face of adversity, I'm still getting a dopamine hit because I did plan this out. I knew this was happening. The brain loves that. It's really important. Know the fact that you've gone through some hard times before. You have the tools. It is in your DNA to come up with creative solutions. So own that shit. That is your superpower, yeah? And this is why I said to set specific and meaningful goals. That long-term goal, that inspiration, it really has to bond with you and it really has to gel with you, because that will be your North Star that you can come up when the shit's hitting the fan, look at everything and view it like a Kanban board. You know, you've got your sprints, you've got a few of your user stories that are ready to go, and now they've all been blocked. Okay, well, we're going to either delay them or we're going to pivot and we're going to change some things and view it in an almost scientific or clinical or project delivery style, rather than with the emotions that are contained all around it. Remember, label the emotions, reframe, come up with a bit of a positive silver lining to it. And if you take nothing else away, take the fact that self-reflection and self-regulation are the beginning, the middle, and the end of resilience and grit. They are so important for us. We really need to be able to catch ourselves in that moment when the shit is hitting the fan, take a breath and go, okay, I'm feeling these emotions, it's all right, and how am I going to react to this? Because you might be familiar with Daniel Kahneman's work, Thinking Fast and Slow. And in that he describes type 1 processing, which is that survival mechanism, all right, that really fast. And it saves our lives and it's really cool, but it's also full of emotion and it's full of errors, all right? And we can get ourselves into more trouble and make the stress worse. Whereas type 2 processing, when we do that cognitive reappraisal and we come back to the prefrontal cortex, that's when we can start to think about the consequences and moving forward. And so this next slide here, it's not there, but it's up there. Okay, that's work. All right, delayed response. Reaction, and how fitting is that? But between stimulus and response, there's a space between slides changing. So whether we react or whether we respond, in that space, that's where we find our power. That's where we demonstrate our growth. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story here, and I'm going to go a little bit deep, and I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable with you. Because you might have thought leaving a cult was a pretty bad time. Yeah, it was. It was, I'm not going to lie. And with leaving the cult, that was the end of my first marriage. That was gone, that was done and dusted. And I tried to recreate life and get on with it. But one of the problems about having a bit of a trauma response and being a trauma victim is that you tend to, through quantum entanglement, attract other trauma victims because they recognise shit. And you go, oh yeah, we're going to be really awesome together. Oh no, we're going to make the fucking trauma worse. And so I went through a little bit of that. And then finally got around to the point of finding someone wonderful, and everything was going great. We got married, we were renovating some houses, we had some kids. It was really awesome until it wasn't. And it started to go downhill. And I was recognising all of the signs. And I was fighting. I was trying to do all of the positive things and trying to lean in and do everything right. And we went to marriage counselling, and she called us out on the things that we needed to do, and called out my ex on some stuff that she had to do. And we walked out of there and she said, well, we're never going back there again. That was a bit of a nail in the coffin. Okay. So we'd been separated. I was staying on a friend's couch, and then she was staying at some friends' places. Work had been really scarce, and we were struggling. I was really struggling with that. But we had the savings from the houses that we'd renovated and sold, and so working the problem. And I got an opportunity through a friend for a job interview, and I put all of that aside. I turned up and I gave it my all, and I got the job. And it was the best fucking company I've ever worked for, an amazing startup, an amazing tribe that all had one another's backs. It was incredible. And so, yeah, okay, we're going good, that's really good. And then I come home from work and she's cleaned out the house, taken all the savings, maxed out my credit cards. She took my fucking Worcestershire sauce. I mean, she didn't cook. She wouldn't even know what umami meant. She couldn't balance a dish. Weird, the things the brain concentrates on in the face of all of that adversity. Worcestershire sauce. And the 3 bottles of olive oil. Anyway, so I kept working the problem. I didn't know if I was going to have a roof over my head. I didn't know how I was going to survive, if I was going to have to declare bankruptcy. But the worst thing out of all of it, I didn't know if I was ever going to see my kids again because of the way things were going. And so I'm trying to work that problem. What can I do? How can I turn up for that? And I rang my father-in-law. Again, I'm grieving about losing my new tribe because I really loved him. I'd lost my dad when I left the cult. I now had a new dad and I'm about to lose him too. But I appealed to him. I said, you and I have always been close. I love you dearly. Can you please advocate for me to be able to see my kids? And he did, and he was amazing. And we got that ball rolling. And at that same week, I got a phone call from my fantastic mate, Peter McHale, the former SAS soldier that taught me to throw people off buildings and jump face first to the ground. An amazing man, the hardest man that I've ever known. He was a brother, a mentor, and a father figure, and you might have picked up that I said was, because on that day he told me he had a terminal diagnosis of mesothelioma. This guy used to go first through the door. He was the toughest motherfucker I ever knew. And 30 years later, one of the operations they'd been in, they breathed in the asbestos dust from the grenades that they'd thrown in, and that took them. And I'm like, fuck. okay, mate, what can I do? How can I help? What are we talking about? Give me the real talk here. He's gone, we're talking 6 to 12 months. Fuck. All right, 6 to 12 months. I got this. The reason why it hurts so much is because when I was 22, I lost my mum to lung disease. I was her primary carer. I'm now older than my mum ever got to be. I lost 2 uncles and my grandfather in the space of a few short years all around that. So I knew what was in store for Macca and none of it was pretty. Okay, I've got 6 months. We can do this. I'm working the problems. I'm turning up for work. I'm trying to be there. I'm going through all of this in the meantime, not knowing where I'm going to live, how I'm going to work this problem. And I'm thinking, we've got time. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from Macca on a Friday afternoon. I look at the phone, I'm going, "G'day mate, how can I help?" I'm thinking he needs some help on the weekend. And the phone call goes, "Troy, I can't breathe. I've just got a group over the edge and I'm fucked, man, I'm fucked. Can you get here? No one else is available." And I'm going, "Dude, do we need to call an ambulance?" He's going, just get here, there's another group coming." Oh, fuck. I thought I had more time. Fuck. Okay, it's all right, mate. I'm not at home. I'm just down the road in South Melbourne. I turn to my new bosses and I'm like, "Guys, my mate who's got the terminal diagnosis is just down the road. He's going through a crisis. I need to get there. I need help." And they go. Thank God. Yeah, okay. All right, get down there. I get Macca. I find him. His breathing's starting to calm down. We get him into the car. He's got another mate there. Now, as a rap jumping instructor, there's 2 positions. There's a marshal and there's a brake person, the belay. Fortunately, Macca had another mate there with him. And I said, "Right, let's get him into the car. Let's get him home. This is going to knock him for 6. I want you to keep an eye on him. Do not leave his side. If this happens again, call the motherfucking ambulance. Don't take no for an answer." All right, Macca. And I am just going back to visions of my mum's body contorting for every breath as she laid on her deathbed, and it's fucking killing me. And then around the corner comes a group of 15 people from one of our mates, Travis Bell, the bucket list guy, who would have these workshops and these weekends where people were coming to change their life and to accomplish amazing things, and they've just come around the corner, and I'm like, "G'day, fearless ones, how are we going? You ready to change your life?" Yeah. Fuck. Because I know now that my North Star, my primary mission, I have these people's lives in my hands. Nothing else matters. I can deal with these emotions later. I'm going to feel them. I'm going to honour them. But right now, I can't be distracted because these people are about to trust me with their lives. All right, let's get up the elevators. Let's come up. I'm going to show you what you're going to do. The building doesn't look very tall from down here, does it? But wait till you get up the top. It's a whole different ballgame. We get up there. We take them through the safety routines. We demonstrate. We assure them of all of the amazing equipment that we've got in place to look after them, to care for them. We take them through putting their harnesses on and all of our safety checks. Brake person and belay, we cross-check one another. It's part of our routine. It's part of our safety. We demonstrate the rope and how that's going to work. The other instructor gets up, he walks up the stairs, he sits on the edge. I grab him and throw him over the top. He goes over the edge and holds the rope with 2 fingers and say, "This is how sensitive the braking system is. It's really easy. You can get down and this is how you do it." And he goes down and everyone's going, "Oh, yeah, this is crazy." Now, meanwhile, one of the wonderful things about having all of that trauma response is you be able to read a room really well. So you use that superpower and you're looking at all of the people here and this guy's really confident. Well, he can't go first because it'll put off the other ones. This person's way too nervous. All right, and if I get them up on the steps, Macca says everybody's got to go. Don't let anyone back down. Get them up the steps, don't let them back down. Everybody goes. Now, he, being a hardened bloke, the moment they get to the edge, he's going, "Okay, you're right, bye." I had a little bit more empathy and compassion than that. So I'd be scanning the room for the person that was nervous but had a bit of grit and determination in their eyes. And I'd had a bit of a chat to them. Oh, they'd done a bit of rock climbing. Fantastic. All right, you want to come up? And I'd get them going. We're getting the rhythm going. This is really good. Yeah, we're working it. I'm in the zone. And I'm looking over and there's this one really nervous person. Now, you don't want to let them hang around too long because they'll talk themselves out of it. I said, "Come on over, what's your name?" "Oh, Jan. All right, Jan, under the rope. come on in there, stand on the spot, assume the position. We'd make them do this, right? So I get them onto the rope and I connect up the carabiner in the figure of 8 and I hook her on. I said, Jan, you're locked onto the system. You're safe. You're not going anywhere. Stay there. Let me check your harness. Buckles 1, 2, 3. We're all good. Check your gloves. Check your helmet. That nice and comfortable. Good. Stay there. I'm just going to yell out to the brake person. Yo, we're ready? Yep, we're good. All right, Jan, I've got you. I grab her harness. I shake it. I start to walk up the steps and Jan collapses in a sobbing, screaming heap. Don't do this. No, I can't. I'm going to die. Now, get me the fuck back down. Get me down. I can't do it. And I'm like, fuck. Everybody goes. Not now. And then I'm driven by another set of values. My mum, Joy, superpower of empathy. Fucking amazing. Shit driver, amazing with empathy, right? And I'm like, I have to let her back down. I can't. I've got to care for her psychological safety as much as her physical safety. We get Jan down. Because right now, Jan's thinking, no one told me life was going to be this way. Build the tension, break the tension. All right, you're working with your dance monkeys. It's all right. Okay, so we're doing that, and straight away someone else says, oh, I ain't fucking doing it then. If there's a choice, no way. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, we get through the others. I do what I can control. We get them up. They're all pumped on adrenaline. They're going, oh, that was awesome. And I'm going, yeah, all right. And I get one of the others. We give them 3 jumps. Second jump, the other nervous person, we get them over. Everything's going good. Jan, fuck no. All right, and then the others come up and go, come on, we've got to coach Jan. Let's work it. And then we finally, somehow, we get Jan. I actually get her sitting on the edge of the building. That in itself is amazing. And I'm thinking, I got this, baby. Fly, be free. No, she wouldn't let me do that. It was, don't you do that. Don't you let me go. Don't you let me go. And I said, it's all right, Jan, just take a breath. Have a look into the distance. Don't try that stupid crap with me. And everyone's going, come on, Jan, you can do it. It's amazing. You can do it. Jan's brain is hearing, die, Jan, die. And in that moment, between stimulus and response, there is power. And I went, everyone, just be quiet. Let's just breathe. Jan, take a breath. All right, this isn't about whether you go or not. This is about the conversation you're going to have in an hour's time. Now, I'd never in thousands of people had anyone in that sort of fear state come out of it and look at me and go, what the fuck are you talking about? And I knew I had her. I'd hacked her brain. I'd future cast her and brought her back. And I said, well, Jan, in an hour's time, the conversation is going to go one of 2 ways. You're going to say, oh my God, I was so scared, but I did it. That was amazing. I'm so proud of myself for facing that. Or you're going to say, I was right on the edge. Why didn't I do it? I was right there. Man, I really regret this. And she said, you're fucking good. Get me over now before I second guess it. And I did. And Jan was amazing. She was probably one of the best people of the day. Like, she had control. Because all you got to do is stop and go. Like, it's really complex. And we'd get them over the edge, and I'd say, open your hands up. And they'd say, they are open! But Jan, she got down there. And all the dopamine and endorphins kicked in. She turned around, and the smile could light up the world. It was amazing. She came back up, and I go, well done, fearless one. You're amazing, Jan. That was all you. I'm so proud of you. She grabs me. She gives me the biggest hug, and she says into my ear, that was all you. I could not have done it without you. Oh my God, thank you so much. And it was then that I knew that Jan had taught me just as much as I'd taught her. Because I'd honoured Macca, I'd honoured my mum, I'd honoured myself, I'd honoured Jan. It was fucking amazing. Through all of that shit that I was going through, I changed her fucking life. Jan went on to write the most amazing bucket list and just fucking changed the world. She was amazing. That's not true. I never saw Jan again. But I really hope that Jan recalls that day of her life with the same love and affection that I recall my story about Jan. Because that is so important when it comes to resilience and grit. I mean, you can see that, like, I'm not taking the piss. I'm not taking levity of that. You can see the raw emotion that I still feel today about that. But I own those emotions and I live it and I've done the work and I've healed for it. And that's why I can make jokes of it. because it's the healthy thing to do. It's okay to feel the shit, but it's all about the self-narrative. If you're telling yourself, I'm stuck, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'm here to tell you, fuck that shit. Look at you, you're sitting here, you've spent all of the time and resources to be in this room, to come along to this conference and learn all of this amazing stuff. Why? Because you want to make a difference. You want to improve yourself. You are fucking superheroes. I want you to be in my tribe, all right? And I choose my tribe very carefully. But I want you in it, but I want you to tell yourself that from a self-narrative perspective. This image here came from one of the AI induced games. It was like a choose-your-own-adventure, and there was all these dark paths about reflecting on your insecurities and your fears, and it was really cool. And I got some little alien tricks and a little Thanos gauntlet. It was cool. And I'm walking down, and this one really spoke to me. It was about this broken mirror and a reflection of all of the narratives that I had about myself, all the good things I'd done, all the mistakes that I'd made, the things where I hadn't really been a good person and I'd hurt people, and there's a lot of shame and there's a lot of guilt. And then there's other reflections of what other people think about me. Some people think that I'm a fucking amazing person and the best lock note speaker fucking ever. No one told you life was going to be this way. All right. And then there's other people, say for example, some Jehovah's Witnesses who think I'm Satan the devil and that I give them brain cancer. I don't know. But those narratives, when I looked at this image, I went, yeah, all those narratives are true and all of those narratives are false. It's a real Schrodinger's thing. And I used my special gauntlet to heal that mirror, to give a true reflection of myself. Warts and all, yep, done some shit. I own that. It's who I am today. I've grown from that. I'm a better person. And, I can kick fucking ass. Yes, I've got some imposter syndrome at times. But no, I know I can accomplish great things. And I know that you guys can too. But it's all about selecting that tribe. It's all about being reflective in the moment of stress, about working the solution, feeling the feels, being able to reframe and change that narrative. But most of all, I want you guys to be excellent to each other. All right? So my name is Troy King. My company is Outside the Three for Outside the Cubed Thinking. And I would love to connect with you and help teach you that no one told you life was going to be this way. Yes, fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone.